Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. It's Monday, July 28th. For the first time in several months, Choke Canyon Reservoir has seen an increase in capacity, mainly due to heavy rains in the Uvalde area. As of July 24th, Choke Canyon Reservoir had increased to 13.1% of its capacity, up from 12.8% the previous week. Unfortunately, levels at Lake Corpus Christi continue to decline, falling to 20% from 20.7% over the same period. Harlingen Dr. Ada Cuellar is running for US Congress. She held a meet and greet in McAllen over the weekend. Cuellar, an emergency room physician, launched her campaign for District 15 earlier this month. She's running against incumbent Monica De La Cruz. Cuellar announced on social media she was endorsed by President Trump earlier this month. Last week, Tejano superstar Bobby Pulido said he was looking at possibly running for US Congress as well. The pretrial date for a Victoria County public defender has yet to be set. Brian Watson, chief public defender for the area and a former mayor of the city of Beeville, was arrested last April on charges of misuse of official information. The oversight board of the Crossroads Regional Public Defender's Office unanimously voted for Watson to begin his role as chief public defender on May 6 of 2024, despite the indictment. Watson's attorney confirmed last week that Watson's case has not been given a pretrial date because they have raised a pretrial matter that is currently in the Texas 13th District Court of Appeals. Edinburg Consolidated ISD middle and high school students will be required to use clear backpacks. The district said principals voted on this decision last Thursday as part of a security measure in schools. The sudden move by the school district has upset some parents and students, thousands signing a petition against the new rule. The district says plastic and vinyl backpacks that are colored, tinted, or have designs will also not be allowed. All school-issued athletics and fine arts bags are allowed but must be put in a locker room first thing in the morning. The district says they're working to find a way to help parents who cannot afford the clear backpacks before the new school year begins. Parents who have questions about this rule are asked to contact their child's school. San Diego ISD is putting more money in the paychecks of new teachers, a move that's helping both educators and the district itself. Superintendent Dr. Rodrigo Pena said salary issues have contributed to teacher turnover in the past, but this year marks a significant improvement in retention. 2 years ago, the district hired 25 new teachers. Last year, that number dropped to 14. This year, Dr. Pena only needed to hire 6 new teachers.
When I was a teacher, my first salary was $28,000, and it was like a dream. All teachers, they're looking into and shopping around to see, how much they pay. Everybody has to pay bills. Everybody has to get groceries. So they're always looking to see what district is paying better.
That is Dr. Pena speaking with KRAS News about the increase. He believes the district's salary structure is a major factor in their improved hiring success, along with additional benefits like bonuses and discounted daycare for teachers. State representatives met at the University of Houston's Saturday public testimony as part of the mid-decade round of congressional redistricting. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider reports the move comes as the Republican-led state government is still fighting a federal legal challenge to its 2021 congressional maps.
The Justice Department has identified 4 districts in which Black and Latino residents dominate as, quote, unconstitutional racial gerrymanders, which it is ordering Texas to redraw. Dallas Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett told state representatives that the 2021 maps are already heavily gerrymandered against the state's non-white majority.
To comply with the Voting Rights Act, we should have 60% of the seats that allow people of color to elect their representatives. That would be 24 seats. Instead, we currently only have 14.
Crockett is one of 3 Black Democrats in the Texas congressional delegation and the only one whose district is not targeted in the Justice Department letter. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
The city of Alice lifted a water boil notice for its customers over the weekend. According to a press release sent Friday morning, some areas outside of the city limit showed chlorine residuals below the required levels. After weeks of uncertainty about where the military is establishing a national defense area in the Rio Grande Valley, a sign of that presence has emerged. This past Saturday, MyRGV.com reported the Rio Grande Avenue boat ramp in Mission next to the Chimney RV Park had a single sign that warns of a restricted area. Facing south toward Mexico, the full warning, read in both English and Spanish, reads a directive issued by the Secretary of Defense pursuant to the provisions of Section 21, Internal Security Act of 1950. Hidalgo County Appraisal District records show the sign touches a 4-tract area south of Levee Road to the riverbank. The records do not list an owner. Officials in Cameron and Hidalgo counties have previously said they have been left in the dark with regard to the planning and the execution of the NDA. Harlingen City Commissioners are planning a nearly $66.9 million general fund budget while pulling $2.88 million in cash reserves to help fund 25 new positions, as many jobs as the city's added to its payroll in the last 3 years. Last week, City Manager Gabriel Gonzalez said the budget would cover $66.1 million in expenditures. To fund the 25 new jobs, officials are pulling $1.3 million from the budget. Officials are setting the commissioner's new property tax rate next month. Today, they're holding a workshop aimed at reviewing one of the city's biggest budgets in years. Under the proposed budget, officials are launching a $198,000 four-man drainage team, adding to the city's 10-man drainage crew created 2 years ago. Commissioners are dipping into the fund balance to pull $933,000 for equipment purchases for the drainage work. The Pet Alliance Animal Coalition recently held its first community focus survey event in Bimbolt and Pulido Blanco, collecting 100 surveys and distributing more than $11,000 worth of pet food to local families. The coalition is one of only 9 organizations across the U.S. and Canada selected for Phase 1 of this grant program. It's now preparing for its next community event in Rancho Alegre and hopes of advancing to Phase 2 of the grant program. If successful, Phase 2 would bring an additional $650,000 in funding to support the coalition's work across all 3 focus communities. George West City Council met on July 17th and addressed a wide-ranging agenda that included approvals for garbage rate increases, infrastructure upgrades, and major purchases. Council members approved on second reading a 3% increase in garbage rates across the board effective this Friday. Additionally, J. Carroll Weaver Inc. was awarded a street improvement project that includes reworking the base and applying 2-course seal coating for Lamar, Salinas, and Toscano streets and a similar treatment for Cary Street. The council approved the annual renewal of the Drought Contingency Plan, a requirement of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. The plan will be available on the city's website for public access. Council members also approved several equipment purchases. The American Red Cross Coastal Bend chapter in the Texas Gulf Coast region welcomes Joe Cisneros III as the newest member of its board of directors. Cisneros will serve as the board chair for the Coastal Bend chapter. He is a former Economic Development and Chamber of Commerce chief executive officer. Many people have become immune to the nonstop weather notifications pinging their phones when severe weather strikes. But imagine you have a disability and live in rural areas where receiving accessible information is scarce. Texas Public Radio's Jackie Velez reports on the challenges of sending alerts to the deaf and blind community in rural areas with low water crossings like in Kerr County.
DeafLink is a company that works with city and county officials to provide the accessible hazard alert system for people who are deaf and blind, and literacy challenged. The alerts are sent to cell phones, tablets, computers, and Braille-compatible devices. DeafLink provides this service in Texas for the cities of San Antonio, Fort Worth, Dallas, and Austin. It also helps those in Travis, Killeen, Harris, and Fort Bend counties. CEO of DeafLink, Kay Chido, explains how it works.
It's voiced in English or Spanish, depending on what the client has put into their contract. And that text that is there is done in a format that is so simple for Braille readers to pick up and be able to voice for someone who's blind that depends on Braille. It gives that population, that sensory disability population, access to the same information their hearing counterparts in their community get.
Chido says people with disabilities are often overlooked in emergency situations like the 4th of July flood that took Texas by surprise.
Even the people who can send information are so overwhelmed that they may not consider that accessibility part that's so critical.
Chido says the deaf and blind community in rural disaster areas like Kerr County still struggle to receive information from aid groups like FEMA and Red Cross. I'm Jackie Velez in San Antonio.
The Corpus Christi Nueces County Public Health District will host a no-cost back-to-school vaccine clinic with extended hours next Monday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The clinic, located at 1702 Horn Road, is being offered to help families prepare for the upcoming school year. It aims to ensure that students can access essential immunizations for a healthy and safe return to school. Children under 18 must have a parent or guardian present to receive services, a picture ID, and a copy of their immunization record. There are no income or insurance requirements for this event. The health district will offer clear backpacks filled with supplies to the first 75 school-aged children who receive their recommended vaccines at the event while supplies last. For more information, call 361-826-7200. In sports, the Amarillo Sod Poodles picked up a series win by clipping the Corpus Christi Hooks 6-4 yesterday afternoon in front of over 3,500 fans at Whataburger Field. Hooks catcher Garrett Gilmette hit AA home run number 5 yesterday in front of the crowd. And some dolphins in Australia have a special technique to flush fish from the seafloor. They hunt with a sponge on their beak, like a clown nose. Using the sponge to protect from sharp rocks, the dolphins swim with their beaks covered, shoveling through rubble at the bottom of sandy channels for a meal. But this behavior, passed down through generations, is trickier than it looks, according to new research published in the journal Royal Society Open Science. Hunting with a sponge on their face interferes with bottlenose dolphins' finely tuned sense of echolocation. Co-author Ellen Rose Jacobs used an underwater microphone to confirm that the sponging dolphins in Shark Bay, Australia, were still using echolocation clicks to guide them. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.